I don't really need any more camcorders, and certainly not VHS-C camcorders, like the one I'm using to record, and this one, and that one, and absolutely not for the price tag on either of these. So why did I pick these up? Well, I was able to talk them down. So why did I pick these up? Well, I was able to talk them down on the price of both of them, and I got them both for $6. Still, it's $12 for two VHS-C cameras. This one, which is a Panasonic Palmcorder PV-10D, which you might be able to see right there if the camera focuses on it. I thought that this one was a fairly new camera. It's got that early 2000s, Y2K, turn of the century design to it. But as it turns out, it's actually older than the PV-11D. Check that out. May of 1990. So it's only about 1 year older, so I'd imagine this was actually sold alongside this particular camcorder, the PV-11D, which is what I'm using to record this video right now. What's in this bag is a second PV-11D, which is actually in better shape, slightly, than the one I'm using to record right now. You can see that here. It's got pretty much no wear on it, which is apparently a rarity for these. These were a common model. I've seen a whole bunch of these. Well, okay, it's actually got some wear on it, but not too bad. Looks like this was a fairly low hour unit. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping either of them. And the reason is different for both. This one, which was the one that I wanted, so it figures it's the one that doesn't work, has bad capacitor syndrome, really badly. The viewfinder is completely unstable, and I've already recorded test footage. What I'm seeing on the viewfinder is what it's recording to tape, so there are definitely some pretty serious issues with this one. This one works, and I actually fixed the problem that it did have. It was zoomed all the way in, and the zoom control wasn't responding to me. But after I ran it for a little bit and operated the zoom control, slapped it and whatever, it started working. So I don't know, I may hang on to this one, but the real reason why I got this one is because it came with a tape. Here's the tape, which has footage on it, which I will be uploading to my GL5500 channel, like all the lost footage. Let's go ahead and look at the silver one first, because this is the one that's more interesting, at least to me. It's pretty much the same camera as the PV-11D, just in this slightly different housing. Let's see, we turn on the video light to stop that focus from going nuts. Still got 6x zoom, so got autofocus, flying erase head. There's notice up there that tells you not to insert tapes that have slack. Figure out how to word that correctly. It's about, well, you can see the time on your screen. I don't really need to tell you. Got a couple controls here. Autofocus control, high speed shutter, white balance, a fader control, and backlight compensation. On the top here you get your counter controls, date and time, as well as a recording review. There are your tape controls as well as your clock set. Interestingly, this one actually does not support 40-minute tapes. It's either 20 minutes or 30 minutes. As well as the SP/SLP switch. Playback controls. Very strange zoom control. I've never seen one of these before. Just rubberized buttons, as opposed to a rocker switch like most camcorders have. Here's the eject for the tape. On the back we have the power switch, information about the camera itself. There's a battery release here. There's your record switch, which again is kind of strange. You push it down to record. I'll tell you that this is definitely missing the eyepiece, the little rubber cup. I don't know if it's missing anything else. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it's missing anything else. It's just missing that little eye cup. So unfortunately, it doesn't come out or anything like that, unless it does, and I'm just not doing something right. Okay, yeah, it does, somewhat. Unless I do. Let me see if I can get that out. Okay, I figured it out. It pulls out so you can actually put your face up against it, like this camera does. If you have it just normal, it's sort of like a little small view screen. And you can pull out the viewfinder and look at it like it's an actual viewfinder. But anyway, so we'll try and put that back into place. You can see it's a little black and white CRT. There's your AV stuff down here. Because it's only a mono camera, it's only got a mono output for the audio. I'm surprised that this hasn't been lost because it just comes off like that. Also the stinger for the DC input for a RF modulator. 6-volt DC input. And on this side, you have your clock retention battery, as well as controls for brightness and focus of the CRT, and an external microphone jack. On the front, you don't really get a whole lot. Microphone is covered by a metal windscreen, which is nice. It's not foam, so it's not going to rot off like cameras of this vintage tend to do. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this one. Let's go get the other one. Now, I've already recorded a video of one of these. Actually, I think I've recorded 2 videos of these now, but so I don't need to show you a whole lot. You've seen the PV-11D already. I think it's got exactly the same controls, it's just arranged slightly differently. Well, it looks like this one also has dubbing buttons, which the other one did not. It's pretty standard stuff. Power switches on the top, as well as the rocker for the zoom. Interestingly, there's a remote control down there. Remote control input. There doesn't seem to be any place to put a backup battery, which is kind of strange because you'd think that someone like this would have one of those. But I haven't been able to find it, and I can't source a manual for this thing either. So if somebody knows where the backup battery goes, I probably showed it off in one of my other videos, and I've forgotten where it is now, but if somebody knows where that is, somebody has a manual for one of these, I would be greatly appreciative of that. And you can see how this one comes out, like that. This one's actually older than the one I'm using right now. The one I'm using right now was made in December of 1991. This one says October of 1991. Are you going to focus on that or what? I think you can read that. October of 91. Something I've noticed about these particular cameras is that they don't seem to be very stable. Now, of course, it proves that I'm a liar, but half the time I find that they tip over like this. Or like that. It's probably because I had it leaning up against something. Not very stable cameras. Alright, last thing we're going to do is we're going to check out what's in the bag, which isn't much. There's nothing in this pouch up here. It's a nice bag. But this pouch is empty. There's nothing but the receipt in there. There's nothing over here other than what looks like a couple broken pieces of plastic. Well, there's one broken piece of plastic. But nothing else. A bunch of cables. This is actually an adapter to go from the 75 ohm coax to 300 ohm twin lead, which it actually tells you right there. 75 ohm to 300 ohm adapter, made by SMK. Other than that, nothing else in the bag. Did not get the power supply, and in an interesting departure, even though I didn't get the power supply, you see here, I got the umbilical cord, which is kind of odd. Usually when you find these, you get the power supply but no cord, which of course renders it kind of useless. I'm sure this didn't come with the camera. It's a stereo RCA cable. Even though this thing has mono audio. Both of them have mono audio. So I'm not sure what that would have gone with. And of course, we have a little RF modulator here. PV-RF15. And there, of course, is the umbilical cord once again. Right, now it's time to switch over to these cameras and have a look at what they can do. Yes, including this one over here. Even though the capacitor problems have manifested themselves in a big way. I gotta warn you, if you suffer from epilepsy or some kind of other photosensitive issue, you probably do not want to watch the rest of this video because the output from that is rather unstable. Like I said, I've looked at it, I know what the picture looks like. Have not listened to the audio yet, other than by virtue of the speaker on the camera that I use to replay the tape in. That speaker isn't really good, so I guess there's one thing. Even though I'm recording this on a PV-11D right now, I will also include footage from this. Okay, let's give this camera a chance. This is the Panasonic Palmcorder PV-10D. I have no idea if it's actually working. I'm recording this test footage before I record the rest of the video. But this camera is showing all of the signs of bad capacitors. The viewfinder is completely unstable. Picture quality isn't too bad otherwise, though. But it's got a smell to it. Not sure if it's recording. If it's recording anything useful to the tape. It's got a very strange, and yes, I know that's broken, but it's got a very strange zoom control design. The picture quality doesn't look too bad. It'd be a shame if bad capacitors prevent it from working, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the footage looks like, if it's actually producing usable footage. And the record control on this is kind of strange too. You push it down to record, but oh well. So we'll have our camera test here. I lost the focus. Similar to the PV-11D, this thing is not very good at focusing apparently. I mean, it's not going to focus on the CRT. But yeah, definitely showing the telltale signs of bad caps. I think I might need to refocus this. That's not bad. Love to do some testing later in lower lighting conditions and see what it thinks of that. We're back in unnatural lighting. Unfortunately, the situation is definitely as dire as I thought it was. What I'm looking at on the viewfinder is what it's recording the tape, so this thing is definitely not working like it's supposed to. It's color isn't really coming through either, although I can't really see color on the viewfinder. It's a black and white viewfinder. Yeah, no, it's definitely not working, so that's kind of too bad. This is the one that I was kind of hoping would work. Well, being as though it's from 1990, I'm not really surprised it doesn't. The capacitors are bad. The audio seems to be okay, though. But yeah, that was kind of a waste of $6. Oh well. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Okay, this is the PV-11D and what it sees. I'm not so sure. I think I might see a couple of bad capacitor manifestations over there. I'm trying to avoid using the zoom too much because, like I said, the zoom seems to be a little messed up. I'm sure that if I zoom it all the way in, I'm going to lose control of it again. I'm really not sure. You've already seen video from these, so it's not like I'm doing a disservice by not showing too much. Here's a quick look with the video light. See that, like both of these that I've had before, this one's got some issues with changing in lighting. Definitely some issues with focusing. Come over here and have our camera test. It won't focus on it either. I'll have to check and see what kind of pitch the, I guess pitch isn't really the right word, but I'll have to see what the lens is compared to 35 millimeters. So it seems like it's got a very narrow field of view. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else I can think of to share with you, so that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.